I'm sure all of us have been through this phase where we have really questioned the things that we learned in our classrooms, in school and colleges. Have they been really relevant? Um, it's kind of a fashion statement when people claim that what they've studied in the classrooms hasn't really been helpful. And this particular piece of news kind of gives me a moment of pride wherein I can reflect upon what I have learned in my classrooms. So I go back to my graduation days in sociology, where the concept of family and kinship was introduced. It was in this class that we were told about statuses. स्टेटस जो होता है वो दो तरीके के होते हैं, एक ascribed और एक achieved. Ascribed वो जो आपको विरासत में मिली हो, जिसके लिए you don't really have to work hard, and achieved वो जो आपने अपने बूते पे कमाई हो. For example, I was born in India. Both my parents are Indian. My grandparents are Indian. By default, I become an Indian citizen. So that the citizenship that I get at birth by default from being born in India is an ascribed status. Okay, I'm giving a very vague example here, but supposingly, I complete my school, I complete my graduation, and then I plan to move somewhere out. Okay, maybe to the US, UK, Netherlands, anywhere in the world. And then after spending some time there, I kind of think that I want to live abroad and I don't really want to go back to my home country, and I fulfill all the conditions that are laid down by that particular government of the land, and I apply for citizenship and I get the citizenship. So that citizenship which I earn out of my own hard work will be achieved, right? For example, you are an athlete and you run in a race, you win a medal, that is achieved. Okay, but then you were born into a family like the Tatas or the Ambanis, then that is ascribed. So I think we are clear on this. Similarly, like if you look at the proceedings of this particular person in the country who really wants to claim everything that has been, achieved and earned in the nation uh, through the 76 years of independence, it's kind of very sad and funny at the same time, because um, for one particular family, like even if you have to think in layman terms, for one particular family to have so many achievements all over the country is kind of impossible, right? And this one person or people around him want to give the credit about everything, whether it's about a dam being built, a road being built, or India, you know, fighting a war or whatsoever. So this is incidents in Gazipur where a school was kind of renamed. Uh, the school was Shahid Hamid Vidyalay, and there was some whitewashing incident, and the school was renamed to PM Shri Composite School. And when this was done, there was this huge uproar. Now, it's very important to understand here that this one person has taken all the credit for the hard work done by the Indian Defense Services and has used them and deployed them to quench his own desires, political or whatever desires. And you have also used it uh, as a bait to garner votes in your name. Uh, Coming from a defense background, I really know what it takes to be a personnel in the Indian Defense Services, okay? And you should be ashamed of introducing such a sham like the Agniveer scheme. So let's just leave it at that. We could probably talk about it much later, And more or less, I'm like a little too small, because there are political scientists, there are researchers, and there are entire parliamentary committees who, and the think tanks, obviously, the think tanks, the tinkering think tanks of India, so who agree with the entire scheme of Agniveer. However, what is ironical is that this particular school was named after a soldier, okay, who was awarded Paramveer Chakra, which posthumously, which is the highest gallantry award, okay. So you not only disregard the hardships of this one soldier, but you are disregarding the entire Indian army. The same Indian army, you have used for your political gains, okay? And you have used this card to manipulate the citizens of the country by giving them an extra dose of nationalism. Uh, the less we talk about the citizens, the better it is, because all of us, again, as I always say, are, you know, we do have this agency wherein we can think independently, because our constitution promises us that. So we must not disregard that. uh, every person should be respected for his or her ideology. Uh, but again, the questions arise on the ideology, and we can talk about it later. But then, it's kind of shameful. It's very, very sad, very shameful that you are so greedy about reclaiming, or I should not be using the word reclaiming, because it was never yours to start with, right? Claiming yours, which is uh, claiming something which was not yours to start with, right? For instance, the school was named after a martyr, and then, because this particular soldier belonged to this village, okay, and he fought very bravely in the Indian war against China in 1965, where he single-handedly, held his ground. But then, you and I don't know if the Prime Minister of India, or his office, or the people who worship him, I don't know whom I should be blaming here right now, because I don't know if Prime Minister of India actually has all the time to oversee the change of names, but there is certain element of fancy that he holds for renaming every city, every place, every railway station. Shakespeare did say that what's in a name, but then there's a lot in a name. There's a lot in a name, and you should ask maybe the Prime Minister of India, the office, or the political soldiers that are deployed, and they might be able to tell you what's a name. But it also is, it's kind of a proud moment here, where there was an uproar by the society, and the name of the school was reinstalled in place. So that's a very good example of the civil society standing up for its own rights, for reclaiming. I should be using the word reclaiming here, wherein they reclaimed what was theirs, right? You just cannot take away everything. In today's time, where everything looks so gloomy, right? Because one particular party has access to all the political institutions, all the investigative institutions. They have access to people, they have money, they have muscle power. So it's kind of scary. It's very, very scary to even think about how you would, dethrone these people. I use the word dethrone again, because in certain senses, we are actually heading to the times where we would actually land up being, a monarchy. Uh, uh, the Parliament of India being the prime example here. But that being said, it's kind of a lesson for all the people in India to stand united against repressive forces, and to let the government or whosoever is responsible to let them know that they are not going to take anything that is kind of imposed on them.
एक अधेड़ महत्वाकांक्षी की हट, उसके आगे जवानों की शहादत क्या मिट सकती है? सोचिएगा जरूर, कहानी तो बनती है